Hey guys, and welcome to the Igloo. Today we're going to be covering about the post Halloween event that has been on Conan Exiles. So we're just going to get right into it, especially for everything that has been released. It is pretty much like they got rid of it. They were saying that it's not the cup of tea. Honestly, if you just did not have 24/7 nighttime, we would have been fine with it if it was just a day-night cycle, and then you had that reskin night cycle that the actual community developed and your graphics designer developed. I think a lot of people would have loved it, especially with the night cycle, and then not having the bugs with the meteor shower events. That would have been cool. I would have liked it, and a few other people that had that as well. And then there's also there's big changes to the event log, so you can actually see more shit that's happening. And if you are on an official server compared to a private server, you're probably going to have the Potion of Lost Souls. I don't know if you can spawn it yet in the admin commands. I just woke up this morning, so we're going to see about that later on. Most likely in my comments, I'll be like, yep, that's a thing. The wells should be refilling again. So this has been a reoccurring problem in Conan Exiles, where they break wells and then they fix them, and then they break wells and then they fix them, and then they break wells again and then they fix them again, and then they're broken again and then they fix them again. So I don't know on how many times they broke wells, but apparently they say they fixed them again. You might have, your experience may vary with well again, so I don't know if it'll be working on your server or not. And they say they fixed an exploit where people can manipulate and duplicate the thrall inventories. So apparently there was another way to do the dupe glitch. So this is number 8 to do the dupe glitch within the history of Conan Exiles since EA. There's also event log changes, pretty much saying what you can do and what you can see. But I'm more interested in bug fixes. Well, should be refilling again, like I said. Fix the bug where traps could be returned to the player's inventory after exploding. So that means you could have had infinite traps, and you could have infinitely set it off, and infinitely doing that over and over again. So, that could actually be exploited pretty bad too, But, I digress. Fix a bug where accessing the vault would cause lag and hitching. So that's a new one where it comes to accessing the inventory to everything else and getting everything else situated. When it comes to getting the stuff and then opening and closing, and what that happens to do is that you're making a call to the server as a client and you're trying to get access to it. And what you're probably doing is that you're probably spamming it to cause the server to lag. So that was a way to do it. Same thing with fix an issue with having several buff debuff icons on screen. That would cause a lot of lag. So literally, if you want to use a full PvP spec on a official or a private server, you would lag because you have too many icons on your screen. They should have fixed it so long ago for that. So they fixed a possible leak for SQLite database handling due missing virtual keyboard. So apparently it's keeping track of you and your virtual keyboard on the query result base. So there's also the other things that I would like to add to this as well. So especially if you are not a server admin and you don't know what's actually going on in the query when things are happening on your server, there's a lot of things that are unnecessary that are on the server, especially thrall buffs. Thrall buffs are not needed at all, as well as pathing. So pathing for a lot of thralls, whenever you put something down in the world, no matter where it is and no matter who does it, all the AI repath that have been in the world and that have been placed down that are players' entities. So those are big things when it comes to server lag, is that when you put a thrall down, no matter what, repathing is pretty much going to be happening. So environmental changes on top of it. Remove the ability to reach unplayable area of the Black Keep. I don't know what that means, but it's probably an area where you can get underneath the mesh, I would assume. Fix the collision issue where the barriers in the Midnight Grove. Again, probably an issue to pretty much go over it because you can still build outside the Midnight Grove. If you're still able to get outside the Midnight Grove, it's just one of those areas where you literally have to watch out for, especially if you're on the private server side. Fix an issue where the cursed wall spine had too many points and inverted rotation, causing an issue of not being able to build in random places. So they fucked up the green wall at a few spots and removed a duplicate of the cursed wall spine existing on the right top of the original one. So it was like clipping of the same wall in one spot within like different instances. So maybe you had a base at that one spot that was all the way at that area, and it was probably an area just like way off in the northwest or something like that, and it was just clipping. I can understand that that issue would be definitely bullshit, especially if you live in the north. Quality of life changes. Added clear button to server browser. Yes. So that you can remove entries of server names and maximum ping filters. Crafting station UI will now display the name of the crafting station instead of the crafting station. So, I mean, that is just an easy fix and adding to the game database. Increase the number of corpses to player from 3 to 10. Should improve corpses disappearing upon player death. So they're doing this now because, like, when you die at a location, right, and you want to respawn quickly as possible, but you respawn at the wrong area. So now you have 2 player corpses down on the ground at that moment, and now you have then a third one that you'd be ready, because now you have 2 corpses on the ground, all right? And then you want to change to like the temporary bedroll that's on over there. But then you see that the temporary bedroll has been destroyed by the enemy. And then you're like, shit, I spawned back at the desert. And then you go and then try to teleport back to your permabed. Your stuff is gone because now you have 4 bodies on the world, but you have only 3 instances of dead player corpses on the ground. So your initial stuff that you would have would be gone. Everything would be gone. I don't know if they've addressed the other exploits that I've messaged to them as well. So, I mean, again, it's a lot of things where you can see and on how you can act upon it. I don't know for everything for the state of the game, especially because like the Halloween stuff was nice. I gotta be cool about it, but having permanent night, that was their design decision when it came to the Halloween event. And it was, again, if it wasn't so buggy and if it wasn't for like the first day on the event that you could actually have dragon powder, star metal picks, and skeleton keys. I mean, I get the principle of having skeleton keys for Halloween events and not the other 2 items, especially dragon powder, because of the balancing issue. Yeah, I would just be like, no, this should not exist. This should not exist at all. And it just became a overlying issue when it came to it, and that's why they got ready to immediately patch it. And a lot of the developers were mad about that these were not recognized because, again, normally, like, as an insight, not all game companies do this, but a good majority of game companies like have different checks and balances when it comes to patches. So, like, let's say for example, Scum has a small team, but whenever they release a patch, they have a coder look at everything that they had just to be sure that that's what they are okay with. So what my assumption is that they had somebody that was in the office and they just didn't check the data table for the meteors that they copy and pasted from the star metal. So somebody just forgot that there was dragon powder and star metal picks because it was only those 2. I mean, I could see skeleton keys, but someone would have thought that it was too overpowered for that kind of situation, and I could definitely see that for some other people, because you can literally jump on a server, farm one of these. If it did spawn at that time, you would get a legendary chest, you would have a legendary weapon, and you would just start slaying stuff on a brand new server. Or if you had a bunch of them, you would not need to worry about your other stuff. And as soon as you have the Black Dragon Pike, I mean, you're pretty set. You have the best spear in the game. The meta is spear and, like, the new claws from, like, the new dungeon. And you also have, like, other weapons that you could deem as throwaway weapons, especially if you're PvEing. You can just use them instead of your main primary weapon, so you can get rid of it. So, again, like, that's why they had that whole reason to get rid of it on that data table for the Meteor events. Again, great design. I loved it. But a few things that they failed to execute upon, especially on the console side, where I've had comments when I released my other, like, update kind of session for it to be completely garbage. Like, people could not play on servers unless, like, you had your own private servers. So some official servers, they were down. They were just, they couldn't play on them at all. They were having like 5 to 3 FPS on PlayStation 4 and Xbox. Because, like, the meteors would always be showering down, and they just could not play because it's an added load on top of an pre-existing game database server. So, like, they just could not play at all. And I do feel bad for console players, but at the same time, I kind of have to say that they need better hardware, especially because I don't know how old is Xbox now? How old is Xbox now? 6 years? 7 years? Yeah, so it's really dated Jaguar architecture hardware, and I'm so glad that there have been announcements for PlayStation 5, and there's probably going to be new announcements for like Xbox and being like the next Xbox. But I really want to see better hardware for console players, because, like, they're going to need it for, like, all these new and upcoming games, especially if you're going to be having games like this and stuff like that, where it's going to be needed, especially for, like, Unreal Engine 4 with getting off of the single-threaded purpose. And, yeah, I'm just going to be like that. I've been enjoying Fallout 76. So if you guys are going to be wanting to tune in to Fallout 76 right now at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right now, it is around 9, 10 o'clock, depending on when I put this video up. So if you guys want to watch me, I'm going to be on Twitch again, Mr. Polarbear. And we're going to be breaking Fallout 76 because there's no anti-cheat. Alright, have a good one, guys.